Media reports say the Saudi government is taking managerial control of the Saudi Binladin Group, Saudi Arabia's biggest construction firm. The government is also discussing the possibility of transferring some of the company's assets to the state. The chairman, Bakr Bin Laden, and other family members are being detained over a corruption probe. The Saudi Binladin Group has debts of about $30 billion. Let's join TRT World's editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, who's live for us in Paris. Craig, welcome. Does this move to take over the management of Saudi Bin Laden mark the beginning, perhaps, of the end game of this corruption probe that we've been seeing?
Hard to tell if it's the beginning of the end game or just the start of the game, because there's still a lot of Saudi princes who own big corporations who are in jail, such as Al Walid, Kingdom Holdings. This takeover, apparent takeover, has sent a chill through a number of the attorneys I spoke with this afternoon who represent some of the companies that Kingdom Holdings, for instance, controls great swaths of.
Right.
This is not a good thing. Is this how you do business?
So, well, yes, apparently so in modern Saudi Arabia. You mentioned Kingdom Holdings there. Are your sources saying that it too could be next to have its management taken over?
Yeah, there's a concern here because, the word transparency and Saudi Arabia do not get along well together. And nothing's changed under, the ersatz rule of young princeling Salman. Look, what you keep hearing is this. Saudi Arabia is trying to regenerate its economy based on anything that doesn't have to do with oil. They want a non-oil-based economy, Saudi Vision 2030. They want all this money to come in. These kinds of activities taking place in the kingdom right now do not attract capital. They make outsiders aversion. They have an aversion to this type of risk. Here's the difference, Azar. People will still do business with Saudi Arabia if it has to do with oil, because after decades and decades of doing business with the Saudis, there's really no risk aversion to conducting transactions with Saudi Arabia vis-a-vis oil. The system is in place. People know how it's done. Now they want to create this other system. They want to float a percentage of Saudi Aramco. And the old ways of doing business are not there, and the Saudis aren't spelling out what the new ways of doing business are. And that's concerning people.
And in the meantime, Saudi Arabia is still struggling with oil prices that are far below what they were in 2014, and it does need to diversify its economy, as you say. So the consensus, though, is that in trying to diversify, it's still going to have problems attracting the foreign investment and the foreign expertise that it needs to go forwards.
There is absolutely no question about that. And if you look at Kingdom Holdings, which I think is the linchpin in all of this, Kingdom Holdings holds huge swaths of Amazon, AOL, Apple, Canary Wharf, Citigroup, Coke, eBay, Disney, Marvel Comics. The list goes on and on and on. So they have a lot of potential assets, from those holdings. Now, if the Saudi government takes control of Kingdom Holdings, the lawyers I've spoken to at some of these companies are telling me that they have no idea what would happen next. And lawyers don't like that. Shareholders don't like that. Investors don't like that. The market doesn't like that. It adds up to uncertainty.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, yes, the Saudi government is now technically, officially going to take over large chunks of Saudi Bin Laden, and as you've been saying, possibly Kingdom Holdings as well. But here's the thing. The Saudi government has always been intrinsically involved in the running of these companies and many, many others. So from a foreign investor's point of view, is anything really going to change?
Well, yeah, because as I said, there is a difference with doing business in the oil sector and doing business in a sector where, for instance, an investor is going to come up with a few $100 million to invest in a tourist hotel outside of Jeddah. You know, what is to prevent, you know, that hotel being, you know, sucked in by the royal family, essentially being nationalized if the family wakes up one morning and doesn't like what the partners are doing? That is really the concern. You know, with oil is complicated, but it's actually a very easy investment. You know, you send them money and they ship you oil, and you know what? We'll come in and give you some help to teach you how to drill it and to set up all this stuff that you need to get it out. It's actually rather simple. It's like Lego. You get into these other kinds of investments that they're looking at for Saudi Vision 2030, and they're complicated investments that involve major shareholders, and they involve reputational jeopardy and reputational risk. And right now, you just don't see the appetite for people wanting to put lots of direct foreign investment in anything in Saudi Arabia that is not even remotely connected to the oil sector.
Craig Copetas in Paris, thank you so much.